I showed up uninvited to Mother's Day dinner. "Don't even touch the food," said my mom. "This cost $4,000, my sister added. What they didn't know was that she used my card. I reversed the payment and left an envelope on Mom's chair. She opened it and everything stopped. I canceled her, and within seconds, my phone blew up with 42 missed calls. It was Mother's Day, and I was driving to my mother's house with my heart in my throat. The sky was orange, as if it knew that night everything would change. My name is Leonardo. I'm 32 years old, and since my father died 3 years ago, my life became a lie I upheld for them. That night, I want to tell my mother the truth about how I'd been supporting her, hoping it would fix things. But what happened was something I never expected. When Dad died of a heart attack, the family fell apart. Mom became cold, as if I were a burden. My younger sister, Maria, 28, spent her time burning through money and showing off on social media. I became the one holding everything together, but no one knew. Dad had left a fund, or so they thought, a bank account that paid for the house, the bills, Mom's lifestyle. But that fund ran dry in less than a year. When I saw Mom starting to worry, I began putting in my own money. Every month, I transferred part of my salary, sometimes more than I could afford, so they wouldn't notice. I worked long shifts at a logistics company and did freelance jobs late into the night, all so Mom and Maria wouldn't find out. I never told anyone. I didn't want Mom to feel indebted or Maria to see me as her personal bank, but that came at a cost. Mom started treating me like I was worthless. "Look at Maria. She's the one who tries," she'd say. Maria didn't help, but Mom saw her as the perfect daughter. I stayed quiet, thinking one day they'd understand. That Mother's Day, I decided to speak up. I brought a bottle of wine, Mom's favorite, and an envelope with a letter explaining everything. The deposits, the sleepless nights, everything I'd done. I wanted her to know the truth, so we could start over. But when I arrived at the house, I saw expensive cars lining the street and bright lights pouring from the windows. It wasn't a family dinner. It was a party, and I wasn't invited. I knocked, and Maria opened the door with a look of disdain. She wore an expensive dress, as always, flaunting what she could afford. Before I could say anything, Mom appeared behind her, her face making me feel out of place. "Leonardo, I didn't invite you," she said sharply. "This is a special dinner, only for those I notified." I swallowed hard, trying to stay calm. "I just wanted to see you, Mom. It's Mother's Day. I thought I could come." "You didn't think," she cut me off. "This isn't for just anyone. Don't touch the food." Those words hit hard. I looked around, neighbors, Maria's friends, people I barely knew, all staring at me like I didn't belong. Maria let out one of her mocking laughs, the kind she'd used to humiliate me since we were kids. "Leonardo, please," she said, stepping closer. "This dinner cost $4,000. It's not for someone who doesn't contribute." The room filled with laughter and whispers. Mom didn't say anything. She just looked at me with disappointment. But something in me broke. It wasn't just the disdain, it was the lie, because I knew something no one else did. Those $4,000 came from my card. Maria and I had a joint account for a while. I opened it to help with her debts. I put in most of the money, but let her use the card to maintain her lifestyle. I trusted her. I never set limits. But as I stood there humiliated, my phone buzzed with a bank notification. I glanced at it quickly. A $4,000 charge for catering. My blood ran cold. I didn't stay silent this time. I placed a wine bottle on a table and pulled out the envelope with the letter. "This is for you, Mom," I said, leaving it on her chair. She looked at it suspiciously, but didn't open it. Then I turned to everyone, feeling I could no longer keep the secret. "Since we're clearing things up," I said, raising my voice so everyone could hear, "I want to say something. For years, I've paid for the house, the electricity, the water, everything Mom needed. Dad's fund ran out long ago. It's been me this whole time, but that's over. As of today, I won't pay another cent." The room went silent for a second, then erupted in laughter. Maria was the first. "Oh, Leonardo, that's hilarious," she said, nearly crying from laughing. "Everyone knows Dad left a fund. What are you talking about?" Mom shook her head, as if I were a child throwing a tantrum. "Leonardo, don't make a fool of yourself," she said. Others joined in, some murmuring, others laughing openly. No one believed me. They thought I was making it up, that Dad's fund was still paying for everything. No one knew the truth. And in that moment, I realized it didn't matter what I said. They didn't see me. I didn't respond to laughter. I looked at Mom one last time, then at Maria, and walked out of the house. As I headed to my car, I felt a mix of relief and rage. I'd told the truth, but it didn't matter. I got in the car and pulled out my phone. I opened the bank app and reversed a $4,000 payment. The charge was pending, and as the account holder, it was easy. Then I texted my accountant, asking him to stop the deposits to Mom's account. No more money. It was over. I didn't think about the joint account with Maria. In that moment, I was so furious it slipped my mind. I didn't freeze the account or change anything. I just started the car and drove off, leaving the house behind. The party lights kept shining, the laughter still spilling from the windows. But I knew something was coming when Mom opened that envelope. Inside the letter were bank statements, mortgage payments, utility bills, everything with my name on it. Proof I kept them afloat. I didn't know how they'd react, but I didn't care. For the first time in years, I felt a weight lift off my shoulders. Then my phone started buzzing. One call, then another. Within minutes, I had 42 missed calls. Most from Maria, some from Mom, even a couple from numbers I didn't recognize. I didn't answer any. I kept driving, my mind blank, thinking about what would come next. It wasn't until I stopped at a traffic light that I checked my phone again. Besides the calls, there were dozens of messages. Maria had written things like, "What's wrong with you?" and "How dare you embarrass us like that?" Mom left just one message, "Come home now." The others were from cousins and neighbors, some asking if I was okay, others saying I'd ruined the night. No one mentioned the letter. Maybe Mom hadn't opened it yet. Or maybe she had, and they didn't know how to react. I turned off my phone. I didn't want to deal with it now. I drove to my apartment, a small place I barely decorated because I spent more time working than living there. I collapsed on the couch, still in my jacket, and stared at the ceiling. For the first time in years, I didn't feel the pressure of solving everyone's problems. But it wasn't peace either. It was like being in the eye of a hurricane, waiting for what was coming. The next morning, I turned on my phone, and things had gotten worse. More missed calls, more messages. Maria had gone from anger to desperation. "Leonardo, this is serious. Answer." Mom had left a voicemail. I played it, and her voice sounded shaky, not with sadness, but with fury. "I don't know what you're trying to prove with that letter, but this isn't over. Come talk like a man." I hung up before it finished. I wasn't ready to face them. My plan was to let the truth speak for itself. But then I saw something that chilled me. A bank notification. Someone had withdrawn $10,000 from the joint account with Maria. The withdrawal was made that same night, hours after I left for dinner. It couldn't be a coincidence. Maria must have seen the message I sent to my accountant, or found out I'd reversed the dinner payment. She knew I wasn't going to keep giving her money and went for everything she could. I felt like an idiot. In my anger, I forgot to freeze the joint account. That mistake was going to cost me. I called the bank immediately. The representative confirmed the withdrawal was made from a branch near Mom's house. I couldn't reverse it because Maria was a co-owner of the account. All I could do was freeze what was left, but there were only a couple $1,000s. Maria had taken most of it. I hung up, furious with myself. I should have been faster, more careful, but it was done. I decided not to confront her yet. If Maria wanted to play dirty, I needed to be prepared. I called my accountant, Juan, a guy I'd known since college who always helped with my finances. I told him everything. The dinner, the letter, the money Maria took. Juan whistled over the phone. "Leonardo, this is a mess," he said. "But you've got the bank statements, the proof. If you want, we can build a case to recover some of that money. And as for your mom, it's done. The deposits are canceled. She'll feel it soon." I asked him to start gathering everything needed in case I had to take legal action. I didn't want to go there, but Maria was pushing me. After hanging up, I sat down to think. The letter I left on Mom's chair had copies of the bank statements, transfers, everything showing I'd been paying for years. If she opened it, she knew the truth, but her message didn't mention it. Maybe she was in denial, or maybe Maria convinced her I was lying. Knowing her, she probably spun a story to play the victim. That afternoon, I got an unexpected visitor. It was my cousin Roel, one of the few family members I still talk to. He knocked and came in with a face that said he didn't want to be there. "Leonardo, what did you do?" he asked, sitting on the couch. "Aunt's house is a mess. Maria's telling everyone you tried to sabotage the dinner, and your mom's furious about that letter. She says it's all lies, that your dad's fund is still active." I felt a pang of anger, but wasn't surprised. "Raoul, everything in that letter is true," I said. "I've been paying for the house, the bills, everything. Dad's fund ran out years ago. You can see the papers if you want." I pulled out a copy of the bank statements and handed them to him. Raoul looked through them, frowning as he flipped the pages. When he finished, he shook his head. "This is insane," he said. "But I don't get it. If you've been paying for everything, why didn't you say so before? Aunt thinks you're a deadbeat. And Maria, well, you know how she is." I got tired of them not seeing me. I replied, "I wanted them to know the truth, but not like this. I didn't expect Maria to steal $10,000 from me that same night." Roel's eyes widened. "10,000? From the joint account? Man, that's low, even for her." He told me that after I left, the dinner got tense. Mom opened the letter in front of everyone and went pale when she saw the papers. Maria started saying it was all fake, that I'd edited the documents to make her look bad. Most people believed her, but some, like Roel, started to doubt. The party ended early, and Maria left quickly, saying she had something to take care of. That confirmed my suspicions. Maria knew the truth was coming out, which is why she took the money. But what I didn't understand was what she planned to do with $10,000 in cash. Pay off debts? Run away? With her, you never knew. I decided to go to Mom's house that night. Not to fight, but to see if I could talk to her alone, without Maria poisoning the conversation. When I arrived, the house was dark except for a light in the living room. I knocked, and Mom opened the door. Her eyes were red, like she'd been crying, but her expression was hard. "What do you want?" she asked, not moving from the doorway. "Just to talk," I said. "Mom, everything in that letter is true. I've paid for this house, for everything, since Dad died. I didn't want you to know like this. But I couldn't keep quiet anymore." She stared at me, and for a second I thought she might soften, but then she shook her head. "I don't believe you," she said. "Maria showed me the statements from your father's fund. There's still money. You just want attention, like always." She shut the door in my face. I stood there, stunned. Maria hadn't just stolen. She'd faked something to convince Mom. I didn't know how she did it, but she was clearly covering her tracks. I walked back to my car, feeling the ground shift beneath me. Everything I'd done for them, and still, Mom chose to believe Maria. When I got home, I checked the joint account again. No more activity, but the damage was done. I called Juan and asked him to track any moves Maria made. If she was spending that money, I wanted to know where. I also asked him to prepare a formal letter for Mom, explaining that the deposits were officially canceled. I didn't want her to think I was bluffing. That night, I barely slept. I dreamed of Dad, his laugh, how he always said family came first. I woke up with a hollow feeling, wondering if he'd be disappointed in me. But then I remembered something he once told me. Don't let anyone make you feel less than you are. For the first time, I felt I was honoring him. The next morning, I got an email from Juan. He'd found something. Maria had used part of the money to buy plane tickets. 2 of them, one for her and one for Mom. They were leaving the country in 3 days. I couldn't believe it. Maria hadn't just stolen from me. She was planning to take Mom away, maybe to hide the truth, or worse, to keep living off my money elsewhere. I didn't know what to do, but one thing was clear. I wasn't going to let Maria win. I sat in the kitchen with a cup of coffee that went cold fast, staring at Juan's email. The tickets were for a flight to Miami, and from there, Who knows? Maria had always talked about wanting a glamorous life abroad, but I never thought she'd go this far. The worst part was that she was dragging Mom, who probably had no idea what was happening. I called one immediately. "I need to know everything you can find about those tickets," I said. "And if Maria's made other moves with the money?" One promised to dig deeper and told me to be careful. "Maria's not stupid," he said. "If she's doing this, she has a plan. And your mom, well, she seems under control." That gave me an idea. If Mom was blinded by Maria's lies, maybe she needed proof she couldn't ignore. The letter with the bank statements wasn't enough, but I had more. Records of every transfer I'd made to Mom's account, with exact dates and amounts. If I could show her that face to face, without Maria manipulating her, maybe she'd understand. But first, I had to stop that trip. I went to the bank that morning and froze what was left of the joint account, though it was little after Maria's theft. I also spoke with an advisor about the $10,000. He explained that recovering would be tough without a formal complaint, but I could file one for misuse of the account. I didn't want to go there yet, not with my own sister, but I noted it as a last resort. Then I went to Mom's house. I didn't call ahead. I knew Maria would be there, and I wanted to catch them off guard. When I arrived, the door was ajar, and I heard voices inside. I got closer and heard Maria talking fast, like she was nervous. "Mom, I'm telling you, this is for the best. We go away for a few days, disconnect, and when we come back, everything will be fine." Mom replied something I couldn't make out, but she sounded doubtful. I knocked hard, and the voices stopped. Maria opened the door, her face shifting from surprise to anger in a second. "What are you doing here?" she hissed, blocking the entrance. Behind her, Mom appeared with a half-packed suitcase in the living room. She looked at me like I was a stranger, but there was a spark of doubt in her eyes. "I want to talk to Mom," I said, gently pushing past Maria to enter. She tried to stop me, but Mom raised a hand. "Let him, Maria. Let him say what he wants." I sat on the couch across from Mom, ignoring Maria's glares. I pulled out a folder with the printed records. "Mom, I know you don't believe me, but look at this," I said, handing her the papers. "Every transfer I made to your account since Dad died, the mortgage, the bills, everything. Dad's fund ran out years ago. It's been me." Mom took the papers, but didn't look at them. "Maria told me this is fake," she said, her voice low, "that you edited everything to play the hero." I looked at Maria, who stood with her arms crossed, a tense smile on her face. "Maria knows it's true," I said. "That's why she took $10,000 from our joint account the night of the dinner and bought tickets to take you to Miami. She doesn't want you to know the truth." Mom frowned and looked at Maria. "Is that true?" she asked. Maria laughed, but it was a nervous laugh. "Mom, don't listen to him. He's making things up. The tickets are a gift, so you can rest. Period." "Then why did you use my money?" I said, pulling out my phone and showing the bank notification. $10,000, Maria. You took it hours after I left the letter. You knew I was going to cut off the money and went for everything you could." The room went silent. Mom looked at the papers in her hands, then at Maria, then at me. For the first time, I saw real doubt in her eyes. "Maria, answer," she said, her voice firmer. Maria's face turned red. "I don't have to explain anything," she snapped, grabbing her purse like she was going to leave. But Mom stopped her. "Sit down," she ordered. Maria obeyed, though she looked like she wanted to scream. Mom opened the folder and started reading. I watched her eyes move over the dates, the amounts, my name on every transfer. When she finished, she looked up, tears in her eyes. "Leonardo, why didn't you tell me?" she murmured. "Because I didn't want you to feel bad," I said. "I wanted you to think Dad was still taking care of you. But I couldn't keep going like this, Mom. Not after how I was treated." Maria tried to speak, but Mom cut her off. "Be quiet, Maria." Then she looked at me. "I'm sorry," she said, and those words hit me harder than I expected. I didn't know. I thought you were like your father said, always putting family first. But I didn't see how much you were doing." I nodded, not knowing what to say. Maria, meanwhile, jumped up. "This is ridiculous," she shouted. "I'm not staying here to listen to this." She ran to the door but turned back before leaving. "Enjoy your truth, Leonardo. We'll see who laughs last." When she left, Mom and I sat in silence. Finally, she spoke. "The tickets. I didn't know they were with your money. Maria said it was a gift." She shook her head. "I'm not going anywhere. This ends here." That night, Mom and I talked for hours. I told her everything. The sleepless nights, the extra jobs, how I felt invisible. She cried, and so did I. We didn't fix everything, but it was a start. I told her I couldn't keep paying her expenses, and she accepted it. "I'll figure it out," she said. "It's time I take responsibility." The next day, Juan called with news. Maria had spent part of the money on clothes and a deposit for an apartment in Miami, but I couldn't cover anything without a formal complaint. I decided not to pursue it. Maria had lost something more important, Mom's trust. And I had finally gained something, my freedom. The following days, I helped Mom organize her finances. We found a tenant for a room in the house, which would give her some income. She also started looking for a part-time job, something I never thought she'd do. Seeing her take charge was strange, but gave me hope. I didn't hear from Maria for a while. Ro told me she'd gone to Miami alone, but she wasn't doing well. Without my money, her glamorous life was crumbling. Part of me felt sorry for her, but another part knew she'd brought it on herself. A month later, I was in my apartment, watching the sunset from the window. My phone buzzed with a message from Mom. "Thank you for not giving up on us." I smiled for the first time in years. It felt worth it. I don't know if Maria will ever understand what happened, or if Mom and I will have the relationship I wanted. But I learned something. The truth, even if it hurts, is the only way forward.